King Caleb of Aksum, the king of the great Aksum kingdom who rose to prominence and gave his throne to his son while he was alive. Caleb, who ruled circa 514 to 543, was the last major Aksumite king of Tigray, during whose reign the kingdom reached the apex of its glory. Tigray and Syrian sources refer to him as Caleb, but Greek sources call him Helistheus, Ella Atzbaha, or Elasbas. Legend makes King Tazena his father. Little is known of his earlier life. He was educated at Tigrayan Church School, but realized the importance of Greek culture. He ordered the governor of Adulis, the famous Red Sea port of the Aksumite period through which Greek trade came to Tigray, to copy the Greek inscriptions of Ptolemy IV, Macedonian king of Egypt from 221 to 205 BC, and of an unknown Tigrayan emperor. The 6th century theologian and geographer Cosmas Indicopleustes preserved the only exact copy, which he later included in his book, Topographia Christiana, Christian Topography. Aksum reached its last period of glory during Caleb's reign. Legends were inscribed in the Ge'ez language on coins, and art and architecture flourished. Aksum controlled traffic on the Red Sea as well as much of the Far Eastern trade. Only Aksumites were permitted to sail ships to the Far East. The Byzantine Emperor Justin I, who ruled from 518 to 527, encouraged Aksum to engage in the silk trade with China, in competition with the Persians. Caleb is especially remembered for his military expedition into South Arabia, which had long been under Ethiopian control. About AD 523, Du-Nuwas, a local prince of the Najran area, led a revolt after first having secured the support of the large Jewish community in South Arabia by converting to Judaism. Moving during the winter, when the weather would not permit Aksumite intervention, he attacked the Tigrayan garrison, conquered the whole of South Arabia, persecuted the Christians and forced Judaism on them. The following summer, however, Caleb heard of his exploits and prepared a punitive expedition against him. Caleb himself set out with his naval force, defeated Du-Nuwas, restoring Aksumite sovereignty over South Arabia in AD 525. This victory won Caleb fame as the defender of the Christian faith and increased his prestige and power. Aksumite Tigray became the third power in the Middle Eastern region as a whole after the rival Byzantine and Persian empires. The Byzantine Empire frequently sent ambassadors to Caleb to conclude commercial or military treaties. Tigray and Greek legends state that Caleb abdicated after his return from South Arabia. Dedicating his crown to the Holy Sepulchre, he entered the monastery of Abba Pantaleon, where he spent the rest of his life. He was canonized by the Tigrayan Church, and was the first Tigrayan to be recognized by the Greek and Roman Catholic churches as a saint. Procopius, John of Ephesus, and other contemporary historians recount Caleb's military expedition of Yemen around 520 against the Himyarite king Yusuf Asar Yathar, known as Du-Nuwas, a Jewish convert who was persecuting the Christian community of Najran. After much fighting, Caleb's soldiers eventually routed Yusuf's forces and killed the king, allowing Caleb to appoint Sumyafa Ashwa, a native Christian named Esimiphios by Procopius, as his viceroy of Himyar. Blessed Elisban was the emperor of what is now Tigray, Aksum, and lived when Arabia was ruled by Dunan, an oppressor of Christians. The pious Elisban was unable to stand by while those who believed in Christ were being massacred. He declared war on Dunan, but his first military campaign was not successful. Desiring to learn the reason for his defeat, Elisban, inspired by a revelation from above, visited a recluse named Zenon. He revealed to the emperor that he had acted unrighteously in his desire to take revenge against Dunan, for the Lord has said, "Vengeance is mine, I shall repay." The holy ascetic urged Elisban to promise that he would devote the rest of his life to God if he wished to escape his wrath for his self-willed revenge, and then he would defeat Dunan. Saint Elisban made that vow to the Lord, and in 520, he and his army confronted the enemy. This time, he defeated, captured, and executed Dunan. According to the Roman martyrology, after Elisban defeated the enemies of Christ, he sent his royal diadem to Jerusalem to be hung near the life-giving tomb of Christ during the reign of Emperor Justin. Following his victory, the saint kept his word and abdicated as emperor, secluding himself in a monastery. For the next 15 years, he lived a life of strict fasting and asceticism. As a result of his protection of the Christians, Caleb is known as Saint Elisban, after the 16th century Cardinal Caesar Baronius added him to his edition of the Roman martyrology, despite his being a Miaphysite. Tigray is the home of human and democratic rights which it gave to the world. Please come and visit the holy Tigray, which holds the holy city of Aksum, the mother of Caleb the great king. Aksum is the home of all Hamite Africans. We will bring all Hamite Africans under one umbrella in the holy city of Aksum, where all things started.